Hello, beautiful awakening souls. Thank you for coming to visit our channel. We really appreciate you being here and really enjoy doing these readings for you. We, meaning me and Brent and Cam. We are all in this together. I do the readings and most of the stuff that's on the actual YouTube channel. But once you get in and start working with us, Cam and Brent are a part of this as well, and they contribute a lot of great things. So when I say we, that's who I'm talking about, all of us here at the Conduits. So if you like our videos, please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for being here. And we have some specials right now, you guys, which I'll talk about a little bit later on in the reading. For right now, we're going to get into this reading right away. It is our opportunity to look at Divine Masculine's shadows. Oh, it's 111 where I'm at right now. I guess that was some good timing, right? Come over to the computer and I see that it's 111. So someone out there, that might mean something to you. 111 on the clock. All right, so we're going to look at Divine Masculine's energy right now and kind of look at what it is that they need to work on as far as shadow work, or like what kinds of parts of themselves are they kind of unconscious to. And we all know that Divine Masculine can be unconscious to certain aspects of self, right? They're going through this journey just like we are, but they're going to experience it differently than we do. They don't have an awakening in the same way that you and I do, Divine Feminine. They just don't. So this first card is, what is it that they need to accept? Okay, what does your Divine Masculine need to accept? And for this we have Knight of Cups. Oh, and it was just 222 as I put this up as well. So we got some synchronicities going on in this reading today. Okay, so with Knight of Cups, we have an idealized perspective of what a relationship should look like. They may need to accept that, not that they need to accept something lesser than what it is that they want and desire, but more that they just need to allow things to be what they are and recognize that there is a purpose and a divine meaning for things when they don't show up the way that our ego wants. There's a big difference between what the ego wants and what the soul wants. And so some acceptance of what is, some allowance for, and some faith and some trust in allowing things to show up in the way that the universe or source wants it to. Because again, the universe gives us what we need in order to align us with what we want so that it can give us what we want. We have to kind of master over self first and go through self-realization before we can self-actualize. And, some people don't believe that twin flames are on a mission, right? But I don't agree with that. I think twin flames are on a mission, but I think that the mission of twin flames is oftentimes misunderstood. Because you are on your mission with your twin flame, even right now, even if things are not the way that your mind thinks they should be. And that's kind of what Divine Masculine needs to accept. And maybe on some level, if Divine Masculine is in a place of needing to accept this, maybe you might be as well, Divine Feminine. That's just something to keep in mind for you to take a look at as well, since you guys are so entangled with each other. All right, so this next card is, what is it that your Divine Masculine needs to forgive? What do they need to forgive? And for this, we have 5 of Wands. Okay, so with 5 of Wands, there are some experiences. What I see with this is I think it's experiences that they've had with probably past relationships And I think it's probably been in several types of relationships because it's a personality trait of your divine masculine for them to engage in this sort of thing, which is kind of a competitive sort of tit for tat, kind of tallying things up and keeping score kind of attitude. There's an insecurity that causes this. It's a self-worth issue, needing to feel validated and needing to feel valued and important. And it's almost as if they've got to keep score and keep track all the time. Well, I do all these things right and you do all these things wrong. But it creates a lot of problems in their relationships because it is a very kind of controlling and also a very unfair way to do things. It creates discord and it creates distance between them and what it is that they really want, which is a good relationship, a close relationship. It puts people on the defense. And then they have kind of this sort of rivalry with a lot of people that get close to them. And so they can be a little sarcastic sometimes, maybe. Sometimes they can, kind of be a little condescending. And they are projecting that outward. So they don't recognize that they're the ones that are creating this environment. They think it's everyone else doing it to them. But what they don't realize is the behaviors that they're doing that provoke people to respond a certain way. And so they feel like everyone's being competitive with them when in actuality, and that's kind of like a vicious cycle. Everyone's being competitive with me, so I need to turn around and, keep score and kind of tit for tat and, make sure that, my needs are being met and that I'm not being treated unfairly. But what they're doing is they're creating this cycle, since they don't see what it is that they're doing that's creating it. All they see is the response to it, which validates their desire and need to continue to act that way. A lot of times that's how patterns in our life work. We don't recognize that what we're doing is actually creating the environment that we are trying to protect ourselves from. The more that we try to resist and control, the more things show up the way we don't want them to. And that is a tough lesson to be learned. So your divine masculine needs to start forgiving others. And then they may have this kind of like aha moment when people stop treating them that way, that maybe they were playing a part or playing a role in that. And then, forgiveness of themselves as well, because we all do things out of ignorance sometimes because we don't even recognize what our shadows are until life gives us enough examples and enough situations for us to overcome them. And that's why I always say the universe gives us what we need to align us with what we want. So this next card is, what do they need to release? What do they need to release? And we have the Lovers in reverse here. So with the Lover in reverse, it looks like there is probably some kind of relationship that they have had with a significant other that they are somehow still entangled in. They could be with this person still in a relationship. They could be in an on and off relationship. It may be a relationship that they've let go of. Whatever stage that relationship is in, it's having a negative or toxic impact on their way of thinking, their way of experiencing life. It's creating a lot of anxiety and negative emotion in them. And they need to release this and let it go. So if the relationship's already ended, but they're still kind of thinking about it all the time and mowing it over in their mind and trying to figure out what went wrong, they need to release all of that and let it go. If they're still entangled with this person and still interacting with this person, maybe they've broken up, but they're still kind of talking here and there, getting together sometimes, they still need to let it go. They need to let go of the relationship because it ended for a reason. And if they're still with this person, then they know they need to let go of this relationship and move forward. but they're having a difficult time doing that. Maybe there's children involved, maybe they're married, and maybe it's a lot harder for them to leave because of, the life that's been established. But it's not the right relationship for them to remain in any longer, and it needs to be let go of so that your divine masculine can move forward into that place of self-realization and self-actualization. There's people that come into our lives that are not meant to be there forever, but that does not make them less significant or unimportant. They were absolutely an integral part of the relationship and the journey of your divine masculine's life, and should still be held with respect, even though in the 3D it had to have the whole storyline of dissolving for whatever reason, and that can sometimes look negative. But you, divine feminine, can see beyond that because you've been going through a spiritual awakening and you understand the higher and more divine powers and reasons behind why things happen the way that they do. So sometimes it can be frustrating for you to sit back and watch and wait and be patient, but you must trust and allow things to happen in the universe the way that they're meant to. You do have free will. You don't, like right now, I'm dealing these cards to you and you don't have control over what cards they put out, but you do have control over how you interpret them and how you act, right? That's how everything is in life. We can't choose how other people act and behave, but we can always choose our response to it. We can always choose how we react to it. We can always choose what we think about it. Believe it or not, you can choose how to think about things. And if a perception that you have of something isn't serving you well, that's where you get into the real shadow work. You got to look at the thoughts, you guys. You got to look at the thoughts. And, your divine masculine, they're going through all this stuff to help them to evolve and become a better person. And sometimes our karmics are important lessons that may be difficult ones, but they should still be respected and treated with the divine perspective that we awaken to in our awakenings. It's the purpose of the twin flame journey. So what is it the divine masculine can learn? The Emperor in reverse. They got to let go of ego and learn that certain types of immature behaviors are going to not have the effect on your life that you want them to have, right? We must mature on a mental, we obviously have to mature physically. We don't have much control over that, right? We're born as little babies and we mature physically throughout our life. But we also have to mature on a mental level. We also have to mature on a spiritual level. And one of the universal laws of cause and effect is always at play. I mean, they all are always at play, right? Which is important to understand and know these things. It helps you along your path of maturity. But through the laws of cause and effect, certain actions are going to get certain results. And so your divine masculine needs to learn some lessons so that they can realize how their actions are affecting themselves and those people around them, so that they can change those patterns that aren't serving them well. And let's put this here. I like having that there on this reading. I don't know why, it just makes me happy, so we're going to do it. But they need to, they need to allow the universe to teach them some lessons. They'll probably never look at it like that, like, oh, the universe is teaching me lessons. They'll look at it in a more practical way, more logical, I guess. Like, they won't really get into that, abstract spiritual realm with it. Some of them might, but a lot of them are going to look at it from a different way, and they're just going to feel like, okay, I need to learn, I need to grow. This isn't working for me. I've got to make some changes, and then they'll do it. But sometimes we don't make those changes until life gets tough and we have to get really uncomfortable, and then we have the motivation to change. When we're comfortable, we kind of just let things just flow and go, right? Which is okay. But if we have, certain shadowy aspects of self, the universe isn't going to let us just sit there and allow those things to continue on, right? Harmony and balance is constantly being sought after in this universe through that dualistic polarity. All right, where is it that your divine masculine can seek healing and recovery? The Fool in reverse. So this is an interesting card for this one. I think they need to learn certain skill sets that will bring them to a place of having a more neutral and balanced perspective. It could be meditation, maybe a therapist, but it seems that through certain traumatic experiences that your divine masculine experiences a lot of ups and downs, like kind of extreme mood swings. I don't know that I would say it's to the point of like, you know, being some kind of thing like bipolar or whatever, right? But I don't know that I'm really necessarily picking up on that, but it's more like a reaction to like having grown up or experienced some turbulence throughout their life. So they can swing from this to this to this to this a little more quickly. Like kind of remaining neutral or balanced is a little bit more difficult for them, but they long for it desperately. It's just not something that they grew up in an environment that caused them to be up high and then down low and then up high and then down low. And so neural pathways in their nervous system developed, you know, coping mechanisms to deal with that. And it's what they're used to. And so through these behaviors that they're trying to overcome, that's what makes them feel normal, is kind of these big mood swings. So they almost create it because it makes them feel like maybe being normal, not normal, because what is normal, right? Maybe being neutral it feels boring to them. And so that can be problematic because sometimes that can cause us to choose partners that are not stable because we're used to a lack of stability. Lack of stability feels stable, and as weird as that is, but it's like a psychological thing that takes place in humans when they go through a lot of trauma. And then they become dramatic and they, you know, but that's what feels normal for them. Somebody who's not like that, they're just like, oh, that person's boring. Because they don't know, it feels weird and unfamiliar and awkward and unknown to them. So they need to they need some time for themselves to recover. And they need to seek some outside help. So this next card will kind of help us determine what kinds of resources they might need to go to. Like where is it that they can get that help? Where can they find the help that they're looking for? And for this, we have the Moon in reverse. So I feel like this is pushing them toward self-inquiry and meditation. They need to take some time by themselves to really go in and do some self-reflection. And if they could learn, you know, like a type of meditation, and meditation doesn't have to be like sitting on your, you know, bottom in a yogi pose, you know, chanting. It could be running. Running can be meditative. Going for a bike ride, hiking up in the mountains, just taking some time for some solitude, some time for themselves, you know, putting on like some soft binary beats, you know, not to distract your mind, and then just allowing yourself to really reflect upon why you do what you do, right? This is something that would be extraordinarily beneficial for your divine masculine. And the universe, it's not something you need to do anything about. Like, you don't need to run to your divine masculine and tell them this. The universe is going to push them. That's the whole purpose. The universe is pushing them full circle to this place to help them align with what it is that their soul came here to do. So remember, divine masculine is going through an awakening just like you. It's just not going to manifest and look the same. So you can't have these expectations of how it's going to look for divine masculine or how you'll fit into all of that. That's part of the twin flame mission, is just letting things be what they are and learning to trust the universe for yourself as well as your divine masculine without judgment. Okay, so let me get you guys a oracle card here. And we'll see what our Viking Oracle deck has to say today for our masculine. So we do have some specials today, as I was telling you guys about at the beginning of the reading. For Halloween until the 31st, we have 40% off of all tarot readings and 25% off of personal one-on-one coaching calls. So if you have been wanting to do that, if you've been wanting a reading, right now is a wonderful time. It's a pretty big discount for Halloween. We will have another one in December for Christmas, of course. So, if you miss out on this one, I suppose you could wait until Christmas. But if you want to take advantage of it now, right now is a good time. We'll be keeping this on until October 31st, and then we will resume it again in December at some point. So, yeah, it's a great time for one-on-ones. We love the opportunity to work with you. We have several different options for tarot readings. I think there's like 4 different packages that you can purchase for the tarot readings. And then you can do one-on-ones with myself, with Cam, or with Brent. And Brent specializes a little bit more in business. So if you're in the process of trying to start a business and you need some help with that, Brent is a wonderful resource for that. He has an extensive education in business and marketing and is really, really good. So all that information is in the description box below, and you can get those coupon codes and use them at checkout. All right, your oracle card today is Fenrir. I think I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, and someone knows better, of course, let me know, but I think it's Fenrir. And so let's look it up and see what this has to say. Fenrir the wolf. Wolf. There is power in endings. Let go of your hatred. Belittling others to make yourself feel superior is never wise. Do not automatically fear those whom you may not fully understand. First impressions are not always correct. I am ravenous, my mouth open, the yaw lined with great white teeth. They say yaw, but I think they mean jaw. I'm sure that's another way to say jaw, but I'm explaining that to you just in case you guys are like, did she say that incorrectly? So, the yaw lined with great white teeth, I chase the light. I eat, too, the darkness you offer. My eyes see all, yes, even you, and I taste the flesh of the betrayers. I wait soon. It's a little poem included. Vikings both greatly admired and greatly feared the wolf, an apex predator. Wolves not only competed with the Norse peoples for wild prey, they also killed farmers, livestock, and ate the flesh of dead warriors left on the battlefield. Yet these same animals were understood to be protective, family-oriented, and to play an important role in maintaining the ecological balance. While Odin's Hall, the haven of Valhalla, was guarded by wolves, perhaps the most frightening of all Norse images of destruction is that of the giant wolf Fenrir eating the moon and the sky at Ragnarok. Also, Sol and Mani, sun and moon, were said to have been chased by wolves, one called Hati, hate, and the other called Skoll, mockery, sons of the fearsome Fenrir. This presents us with a mythos where two light-bringing deities, Sol and Mani, are constantly threatened by two dark emotions, hate and mockery. A good indication of how the Norse felt about the value of those emotions. However, it is Fenrir in another key mythos who is seen to be betrayed. It was prophesied that 3 of Loki's children would destroy the world at Ragnarok. When Fenrir and his 2 siblings, a serpent named Jormungand and the giantess Hel, were seen to grow more powerful each day, the gods began to worry. Odin asked they all be brought to him. Then Odin threw Jormungandr and into the deep sea that lies around all lands. And Hel was given the realm of Helheim, from whence she could not escape. This left Fenrir for the gods to deal with. The gods approached Fenrir, telling him they wanted to test the strength of some binding against his powers. Fenrir, who was suspicious, said they could do so, but only if one of the gods put their right hand into his mouth for insurance. The god Tyr volunteered. He put his hand into the huge jaws of Fenrir, and when the gods bound Fenrir fast to a huge stone, Fenrir bit off Tyr's hand. While we can sympathize with the gods for trying to save their world, we can also feel the justice in Fenrir's savage reaction. Ultimately, Fenrir killed Odin at Ragnarok after the mighty stone to which he was bound smashed in an earthquake. The Norse knew we should never allow the wolves of hate, mockery, or suspicion to run free in our lives. Therefore, we should refrain from automatically fearing that which we don't understand and seek to understand those who are different from ourselves. In my NLP course that I was actually listening to this morning, they actually touched on this subject, not about this Norse myth here, but about how important it is for us to try to understand those that we perceive to be different than us, or those that cause us confusion or frustration. Because oftentimes if we seek to understand where they're coming from, even if we don't agree, we may actually be able to empathize, and then it doesn't have that same impact on us that it would if we didn't have that understanding. Everyone can come to conclusions that can cause them to act and react in a certain way that maybe others look at as, bad or wrong. But if we understood where it came from, maybe we might view it differently. Again, even if we disagree, we might have empathy for it. And then in doing so, we may actually be able to offer that person a little bit of help or a different perspective that may end up being healing for them. So I think that your divine masculine needs to kind of come to this place on their own for themselves as well as for others, so that they can stop allowing hate, anger, frustration, anxiety, a need to kind of keep coming out on top or to compete with others. They need to be able to let those things go because they're having a negative impact on their journey. And so I appreciate you guys being here today. Thank you so much for coming to the channel and supporting us. Again, please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. It really does help us a lot with the algorithm, and it helps us to get out to other people. So I will see you guys next time, and take care until then. Bye.